"Remove that medal. This is a court of law, not a military parade." The words rang out sharply through the federal courtroom in Denver, Colorado, echoing louder than the gavel ever could. The speaker was Judge Abigail Rowan, recently appointed to the United States District Court. 34 years old, Yale graduate, rising star. Her robe was crisp, her expression cold. At the defendant's table stood Master Sergeant Raymond Charles Beckett, 61 years old, spine straight as steel despite the titanium in his knees. Draped around his neck was the Medal of Honor, issued to him personally by the President of the United States for saving 12 men under fire during Operation Mountain Resolve in Afghanistan in 2003. The medal was not a statement, it was his identity. The courtroom stirred. A murmur rolled across the gallery. A few veterans in the back row exchanged shocked glances. One of them removed his cap in reflex out of respect. But the judge tapped her gavel twice and repeated the order. "Sergeant Beckett," she said, her tone firm, "you are instructed to remove the medal. It is disruptive to the dignity of these proceedings." Raymond didn't move, not out of defiance, but disbelief. "Your Honor," said his attorney, a former judge advocate general named Major Daniel Krell, standing carefully, "with all due respect, the Medal of Honor is protected under Title 18, Section 704B of the United States Code. This man is not displaying it for recognition. He wears it because he has earned it. It is a part of his official uniform and life service." The judge narrowed her eyes. "He is not in uniform. This is a civilian trial." "It is a civilian court," Krell agreed, "but the law permits him to wear it. There is no legal basis to demand its removal. In fact, Section 704 makes it a criminal offense to impersonate wearing this medal, because of how sacred it is." Judge Rowan was unmoved. "This is my courtroom, counselor." Then came the silence. Raymond Beckett, with his hands clasped in front of him, finally spoke. "Your Honor," he said quietly, "I didn't wear this for you. I wore it for the 12 men who didn't come back from that mountain." He didn't cry, his voice didn't shake, but the air seemed heavier with each word. In 2003, Beckett had led a reconnaissance unit up Shah-e-Kot Valley, deep in Taliban-held territory. When an ambush tore through their forward position, he personally dragged 4 Marines to cover, then called in a close airstrike from a burning radio, even after he had been shot in the leg. The citation read, "Conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of life above and beyond the call of duty." His uniform had been soaked in the blood of his team. The medal was pinned to his chest 5 months later with 2 prosthetic rods in his spine. And now, in this courtroom, over a minor zoning dispute involving a flagpole he had installed on his lawn to fly the American flag, he was being told to hide it. The gallery stirred again. A young court officer leaned to the bailiff and whispered something. The bailiff hesitated, then quietly stepped away. Something was shifting. Raymond did not remove the medal. He simply sat down, slowly, his eyes steady. The judge looked unsettled but said nothing. Then the news broke. By the next morning, the courtroom audio had leaked. A junior clerk had recorded the interaction, and it was already on veteran forums, TikTok, and across every morning news cycle. "Medal of Honor hero. Humiliated by federal judge," blared the headlines. By noon, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, American Legion, and Congressional Medal of Honor Society had all released public statements condemning the judge's actions. Legal experts appeared on air, citing not only the violation of federal decorum rights, but also questioning the judicial ethics of such an order. Veteran groups began arriving at the courthouse by the dozens. Quiet at first, then flags, then salutes, then a formal request from Senator Marjorie Daniels, herself a veteran of the United States Marine Corps, to open a judicial review of the incident. Within 48 hours, Judge Abigail Rowan issued a formal apology. But it was too late. The Federal Judicial Conduct Committee opened a file. Thousands of letters flooded in from active and retired service members. A petition called for her resignation. Not out of rage, but out of principle. Because if a courtroom can silence a Medal of Honor, it can silence sacrifice. 3 months later, Judge Rowan stepped down quietly. Not disbarred, not disgraced, but reminded. As for Master Sergeant Raymond Beckett, he never raised his voice once. He simply returned to his home in Colorado Springs, to the flagpole on his lawn and the metal plate at its base with 12 names carved into it. He kept wearing the medal every Memorial Day and every time he testified before a local school about the meaning of service. Sometimes the strongest man in the room does not yell. He just refuses to be diminished. Before we end this story, let us know in the comment, where are you watching from? If this story touched you, subscribe to the channel and hit that like button and drop a karma in the comments below.